All right. Hello, everyone. I am Sundej. Welcome back to my channel. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. We are doing a manifesting through music today, and I'm so excited because we have a special guest today. It's extra special because up until this point, we have only kind of broken down the music and put our own flavors to it. But we actually have the artist here with us today to go in depth and go deeper into all the things and what they mean and the purpose behind it. So today we have Ashton London.
Yes.
I've not heard about him. What are you doing? He has his new single Levels, and it's amazing. Make sure you go check that out on all platforms, on YouTube, all of that. Also, in addition to releasing his new single, he's worked with different artists such as Kanye West, Monica, Tank, and so many greats that are
Yeah.
of our time and OGs, who have been in the game for a really long time. So I'm so excited to have you here with us. Just tell us a
Yeah.
little bit more about you. Where are you from? And just tell us more about what it is you're doing right now.
Okay. Well, first off, thank you. Thank you for having me. It means so much to just have people, recognize true passion and talent. So, I appreciate you for that. So, hopefully, we can get back to that real R&B, coming back around. But my name's Ashton. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I've been singing in church ever since I can remember, and I just know my mom. She said that I started in church trying to like it was Easter, and I did an Easter speech, but I didn't say it. I sang it, and so that's how they found out that I could sing.
Oh,
Yes. So like after that, she interviewed me in like talent shows and all this. I won my first talent show at the age of 5, and so after that, I was like, okay, I think I want to keep singing. And it was even though I was so young, it's like I always had like an internal like you know joint. I don't know what to even call it with music, but it's ever since I've been born. Like I just had it in my veins. So that soul music from Memphis with Al Green, and I've been able to record in the same studio he has, and you know God's been able to do a lot for me. So I'm just grateful.
that's amazing. That's
Yeah, yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Um, One of the questions that I have is what is your earliest memory of music? And I know you said that you were in the church and you sang instead of just reading your speech. Is that the earliest memory you have, or is that just like one of the defining moments of how you kind of got started on this path?
The crazy part is I remember that like slightly, but I think the most like I guess vivid image I have in my head is the talent show that I won when I was 5. I just remember I was singing Alicia Keys, I keep on falling, or whatever, and my voice was like super high so I could hit every note, and I just know everybody went crazy, and I was just like, okay, I think I want to do this a lot more. And so they did whatever they could to take me to different states, audition for different TV shows and different competitions. And of course, I got a lot of no's, but it takes that one yes. And as long as you believe in yourself and you keep pushing, it'll happen for you. Consistency.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. So you mentioned that some of the artists that you really love are Al Green and Alicia Keys. Who are some of the other artists who inspired you to do what it is you're doing today?
Oh man, lots of gospel and soul artists, like the Clark sisters, and I even love like Leandria Johnson and Tamala Man. Like those real where you can feel like what they're singing. But
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Beyonce and Chris Brown and Usher, like just their art of performance, the whole thing. So I have a big spectrum of artists. I even like Queen and I like a little country too. So I listen to everything. Yeah,
That's dope. That's dope. It's good to have variety.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, so tell us about the significance of your name because a lot of artists they choose to have stage names instead of their own name. So tell us about why you decided to come out as Ashton London instead of something else.
hmm Something else.
And if
So
you
this is the plot twist because everybody always asks me, what's up with my name, and
don't-
so my real name is actually Orlando. My grandmother named me. Yes,
Really?
and so
Okay.
And so I have this conversation all the time with people, but when they find out. But my real name is Orlando. My grandmother named me, and me and my dad were just talking one day, and I was like, I really want to do this music stuff. I'm about to start recording, and so we were just thinking about the future and just kind of manifesting and imagining things. And so he was just like, what's the first place you would go to once you got your first bag and stuff like that? I'm like, I want to go to London. I like the accents. I like just the vibe of that. Then he was just like, name some cars and just everything you want. And I was like, man, I want a Lamborghini. I want a Maserati. I want an Ashton Martin, because at the time, the song was popping and stuff. So
Yes, I
just
love
picked
that.
Ashton London and put it together, and it works ever since.
You said your grandma gave you that name, right, Orlando?
Right.
How has your relationship with your grandmother influenced your music, or just like I ask because I feel like especially in the Black community, grandmothers play such a huge role. And
Yeah.
my grandma, she was always like, Days, you can be whatever you want to be.
Yes.
And just go for it. So tell us more about your relationship with your grandma and how that's influenced what you do as well.
Yeah, my grandmother has been a big influence and like just big motivational part in my life in general, because no matter what it is, she supports, you know what I'm saying? And I can call her and be crying, I can call her and be laughing or whatever. And she's there and to say the right things. And I know we all have like praying grandmothers, and I know for a fact, she's always praying for me. I just moved to LA. It's a year now this month. And so I just went back to visit her, and she bawled her eyes out because I surprised her. And we've been close ever since the womb. My mom told me, I don't think anybody knows this, but she actually wanted to like keep me. She's like, let me take care of him. So, it's kind of like I have two moms. But I love her to death, and I know they'll go to bat for me. So
that's so dope. That's so dope. So with tell us a little bit more about how you've been experiencing the quarantine and corona and all of these things, because I think that it affects everybody a little bit differently, and at different times too, because
right.
I was like, well, my life is kind of a quarantine. I spend most of my time in the house. Then for a while, it's like, okay, the mask, and all of these things. So tell us about how you've been processing that since it all got started.
It's crazy because it's really made me take time to sit down and like think about everything, from whatever, my life into my career. Because right before quarantine, like I was moving so fast. We were getting ready for like a tour. I had just came back from Paris, and then we were like, everything is about to be closed. So LA shut completely down. And, I'm in the middle of recording a project right now. So, flying back and forth, it was just, it's kind of getting crazy. So it definitely impacted me. But I try my best to just stay productive, like, even if it's aside from my music, sometimes I have to take a break and just see what do you want, from yourself today, or, how are you feeling today? Because a lot of times we don't really take time to just think, you know what I'm saying? And just really soak in the moment. Like what we're going through right now is something we've never, thought of. It was only in movies. So it's like, right now I'm taking the time to just sit back and really realize what I have in front of me, whether it's my family and my career, and just enjoy the journey.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's so important for us to check in with ourselves, because it is a lot that's going on, and I've been really careful to maintain positive throughout this time, even though there have been times where it's been difficult. And then also to just keep in mind that everybody's dealing with it differently, and not to
Right.
I think it's just important to experience all the emotions, right? The good and the bad. So
Right. And see, a lot of guys, especially, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
But a lot of guys especially don't even tap into any emotions. And so even if I have to be the one to say, like, it's okay to actually just check in with yourself and make sure you're good, because a lot of us Black men, we have traumas. Everybody has traumas. So I feel like Black women too, but you guys are a little more, nurturing and, naturally just in tune with your emotions. And so that's just one thing I'm really working on. Like, it's okay, to feel however you feel.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So something else I wanted to talk about is, like, with this quarantine and everything, a lot of people have been showing up more online. So I want you to tell me about how you feel about just showing up, and if you feel pressure to like constantly be posting, constantly be sharing things, and how do you find the balance between, okay, I'm going to share my music, I'm going to share a little bit of my life, and
Mhm.
I'm going to step away from this? Like, how do you decide
Mhm.
what to do?
Right. And so it's like I'm always kind of on a schedule, I guess you can say. So I'll have things that I'm working on, and I'll know like when I'm gonna post it. But like I also see, like you said, a lot of people post shaming people, like, you should be posting every day, or you're not getting it, or you're not on live enough. And I feel like, I'm big on social media, but I feel like you should really detach from social media sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to post, and if that's your brand, that's your job to post whenever or however. But I feel like you shouldn't be pressured to, you know what I'm saying? Feel like you're not doing enough, because it's about timing for everybody, and everybody's situation, circumstances, everything is different. So I feel like you just gotta follow your own, heart and path.
Can you tell us a little bit about your creative process? Like when you are about to work on a new song, do you go into it saying, okay, I want to make a song that's this kind of vibe? Or do you just kind of write? Or what does your
Mhm.
process look like?
And each time it's really different for me. It's crazy that you asked that, because when I did Levels, that was probably like the quickest song I had ever recorded. And it was just because I heard the beat, and I went in, I was just like, record. I'm gonna just say this, and if it's stick, we keep it. And we kept it. We kept the verse, we kept the hook, and it was like, okay, wait, this is pretty cool. But I've had other songs where I would hear it in my head, like the lyrics or the melody, and I'm like, okay, I need to write that down. And I'll go back and like record it. I already have everything in my head. Sometimes it just pops up right then. So it's like, I guess it depends on the inspiration of the beat or the lyrics, whatever I'm trying to convey.
What out of all the songs that you have, what is your favorite? Or do you have one? Because I know that even though you're new to me, like I just found you maybe a couple months ago, but
Mm-hmm.
when I went to your YouTube channel, I saw you had videos from like 6 years ago. So it's something,
Right.
it's new to me, but you've been doing this a really long time. So, what is you feel like would be your best work, or not even maybe your best, but
Mm-hmm.
your favorite, or both?
Mm-hmm. I would say my favorite work that's like out now, aside from Levels, would be Imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Because that song I just took a lot of time, just around that time I was transitioning from, a young man to an adult, and, trying to figure out what type of music and what was okay to say. And, so that was a memorable time for me. But I can hear it in the song too. And for people to go back and listen to it, they're hitting me up now like, man, we wish we would have been known about this. And so it's a good feeling. So
Cool. So tell me about like when you are creating, um, you said you were on a schedule. Are you like constantly um like in a routine of creating things? And what do you do when you feel stuck, or
mm,
maybe writer's block or something like that? Like how do you find your
yeah.
inspiration, or what do you do?
So that's my thing. It's like I'm the type, I have a vision, and I know like the parts that I need for it, but sometimes I definitely have to take like a step away from it, even if it's just for like a day, and just kind of refocus. Because sometimes, when it's you can't really see how other people see. So, sometimes I have to take a break and just kind of, all right, pick back up. And then a lot of times I even change how I even thought about one part. So I'm like, okay, wait, this is way better. And so I needed that day or whatever I saw the day before to give me the inspiration to do this and to make it great. So another thing is like, I just try to make sure I do take my time and not just rush to just, you know what I'm saying?
To
Just
get
get
it
it
done.
out. It's like, I
Okay.
want it to, yeah, I want it to be
Yeah.
like, they can feel the details and the hard work and everything that went into it. So at least that's my goal.
Yeah. So tell me more. You were saying with Imagine, you were in a phase where you were transitioning. So I want to talk a little bit more about the younger version of you, like the 5-year-old version of you who
Mm-hmm.
just really decided like, man, I could really do this. Like this is something that I want to do. What was your vision of success then, and how has it changed just over time, the more experience you've gotten and the more exposure
Yeah,
you've gotten?
it's changed drastically just from, I guess I see things from a different like point of view now, just because I had my first, I guess, real, like when I first started touring with people, I was in high school. I toured with Mindless Behavior. And so when I first did that, they were hot around the time. So we all were teens and stuff. And my parents were my managers, so they would go everywhere with me. And, I was just kind of like in that whole teen, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, craze. And so
Yeah.
after that, that led to me meeting people like Genuine and Tank and, opening up for Monica. And I'm sorry, I'm getting all sidetracked. Wait, what was the question again?
So the question was, so I think when we're younger, when we see ourselves,
Oh,
uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, doing what we
Yeah,
love.
yeah, yeah. And so at the time, yeah, so I was like, opening up for people. And I'm like, wow, like you said, I can really do this. Like doors are opening, people are starting to notice me. But I did go through a rough patch, like I said, transitioning from like even kind of, I wouldn't say breaking away from my parents, but just kind of having a mind of my own, even for my career and the route that I wanted to go. And so my vision of success, I was like, I want to at least do a world tour by the time I'm 30. And I had a whole bunch of, and I still have those dreams, but it's just crazy how the industry has shifted. But not only that, like how the world is shifting, and music itself is, everything is shifting. And so, it always has, but it's kind of just like you have to keep going with it. Like you got to keep going with it. You just got to stick with it, and things will blossom.
Yeah. So tell us more about how you decide what's right for you. Because one of the things that really made me love your music is that I could feel it. Like you were talking about Leandria and like some of those gospel artists. And when you hear them sing, you feel something like you're
Yeah,
moved to cry or to feel happy,
yeah,
just to feel. There's this incredible ability that artists have to just bring out emotions through their voice. And I think that a lot of music today lacks that.
yeah.
As far as kind of like our generation, I feel like some of the older artists who have been around for a while have that.
Hmm.
But one of the things that I liked about Levels is that it's very grown, it's very sexy, but
Yeah,
it's not super explicit and super,
yeah.
which I mean, like there's a time and a place for everything,
Right, right, right. Exactly.
has its purpose. So I'm not shaming people who are that way. But how did you decide how you wanted to present your work
Yeah,
in the way that you do?
it's crazy because when I first did Levels, I let some other like people in my camp listen to it, and a lot of people, they were kind of, I wouldn't say against it, but they they wanted me to go a different route, like you said, and I had to kind of go against the grain and literally just say, okay, listen, this is your work, this is your sound, this is what you believe in, what you want to put out. I told them I didn't want to be so vulgar or so, I want this song to be smooth. I want it to be where everybody can listen to it, but it's still,
Yeah.
something sensual and you can feel it. So I had to go against everybody, like I said, and I put it out anyway, with my hard work and all of that. And to see the response though, like that from the people is just like man, that's an example to just follow your gut and your intuition, because I was discouraged, and I don't mind saying that I was discouraged right before I dropped the song. I was like, should I even drop it? Maybe I should just work on another song and put out another single. But I was like, wait, you got to retract. Like, you got this. You've been doing this. You know how to do this. And sometimes you got to talk to yourself like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're doing this, so do it. And so now I'm glad I did. And, I'm looking back like that's something I want to be proud of years later, and moving forward, everything I put out.
Yeah, that's so dope. Can
Yeah.
you tell us, like, can you give us another example of when it was important for you to trust your intuition over what other people were saying? Whether that's with another song or a decision to do a tour or not do a tour? Or is there anything that's coming to your mind where you felt like you had kind of mixed opinions around you, but your intuition was telling you differently?
Mm. I've had like a lot of instances like that, but I would say I've had like small instances where when it comes to videos or like how I should dress or even, you know what I'm saying, the song selections that I choose during my set, I would have to kind of go against, what my managers would say or whatever. But I would say maybe the biggest, thing that comes back to mind is probably working with Ye. Um, like a lot of people had stuff to say, you know what I'm saying, for that, just because whatever their thoughts were of him beforehand. I don't know, but it's just like when you're in it, like I said, you just gotta stick in it and stay grounded into what you believe in, because a lot of people on the outside looking in. So and a lot of things I can't talk about. So I'm like, but that was definitely a moment where it was like, okay, I'm living my dream. I'm touring. I'm with the man every week. But a lot of people saw negative in that too. So I just say, you have to, that's a part that comes with it too. Even if you're gifted, if you're a leader, if you have some type of anointing or calling on your life, there are going to be people that are going to, be negative or try to sway you from whatever your, path is or whatever your mind is set to. So right now, I feel like I've gotten so numb to that. It's like, I don't even care anymore. I just do my work and I trust God, and, wherever it goes, it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you have to, I mean, I feel like we have to train ourselves to focus on what we're doing, because
Yeah.
with social media and all the different distractions that we have, it's so easy to get distracted, and get off
Hmm.
course or question or doubt yourself. So I love that you said that too as well. Okay, so let me go back to my questions. Can you walk us through what's a typical day in your life look like? Like what you can tell us about yesterday or what did today, or just walk us through like what a
Hmm.
day in your life is like.
Okay. So it changes a lot, but like right now, every day I wake up, I work out, I try to get something to eat, like a little breakfast, something, like, and then I try to take like at least a few hours just to meditate, or like listen to some type of, even if most of the time it's gospel, but any type of music to like just kind of get me in a good like positive spirit. Then I try to work on something. So it could be from the project or the trailer that I'm working on right now, or just even thinking about what my next points are for the next like business call, or like different things like that. So and some days, I'm not gonna lie, I take time to just chill with my friends. Like just the other day, we had a watch party for Beyonce Black is King, and it was amazing. So and I had a few friends that were in it, so shout out to everybody who's a part of that. But yeah, so I'm still, of course, everybody's a like regular person, but you know, I find time to make sure I'm focused, even during the pandemic, and to just have some fun. So I feel like everybody should.
Yeah. Um, okay, cool. So can you also talk about, so right now I feel like there are so many artists who are going independent. And I think that there are a lot of pros and cons to that. So can you
Hmm.
tell us more about your experience and your perspective on working with a team or working with a record label versus doing it on your own?
Hmm. That's a great like topic right now for artists in general, just because of course I'm independent right now, and I'm under management, but I feel like when I stopped looking for like I guess label attention or whatever it was, that's when it's like people started reaching out, like, and started calling. So right now, right now, that's kind of where I am trying to just decipher what would be the best, what I'm saying, long term. And I know that's like some, contract management business stuff, but um I feel like I like being independent because I have control over everything, at least for right now. So yeah, that's a kind of like tricky question, I guess. But I'm happy to be independent right now. I can say that for sure. I'm happy with what we're doing and what we're growing. So if anything else changes, I'm not opposed to it though.
Okay. So tell us, I know that from a very young age, music has just been what you've always loved and what you focused on. But if you weren't doing music, what do you think you would be doing? Like
That's a great
when
question.
to another interest you have or
Hmm.
anything? Like, what do you feel like you would be doing if you weren't doing music?
I feel I went to college for criminal justice or whatever, and I didn't finish. But I had so many jobs before I like started touring with people and stuff. So like my last job that I can remember was I was a bank teller at a bank in Memphis, and man, I was a server. I was I worked at so many places, call centers.
Yeah.
So to be honest, I really don't know what else would I do. It would probably be something though with criminal justice, like law enforcement. I like stuff like True ID, like detective, kind of crazy stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So, when you were in college and because I know you were saying in high school you kind of started doing tours and stuff like that. How were you able to transition and do that or balance like your school and
Right.
still pursuing your passion?
Right. And like I recorded Imagine like when I was in college. So this when stuff was like really moving faster for me. So I had to kind of have a real heart to heart with myself and my parents because like I said, they were my managers. And of course they wanted me to finish school, but I told them, I feel like I'm gaining experience. I believe that I can do, what I need to do. Has been working this far. So, what I'm saying, I feel like while I can and while I have it, I should just go for it. And they were on it, 100% behind me. So ever since then, that's when like, I started meeting people and started getting in the studios, like big studios. I'm just like, I'm kind of glad I did that because, and I'm not discouraging people to not, go to school. Everybody should get an education. But I just say follow your dreams, follow your heart. If you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a nurse, go to school for that. Um, I took classes for music too. I never had vocal training, but in high school I had classes. In college I had a few classes for music theory. So education is still always number one. So
Agree. Yeah, I think for a lot of people it's hard to make decisions like that, but I feel like when you believe in yourself and you know what you're here to do, it makes things a lot easier.
yeah.
So
And
that's
I
a
think that's what like elevates you sometimes. Like when you have those big risks, like that you're scared to take, and it's just like, guys, like if you take it, I'll help you. You know what I'm saying along the way. And I feel like that's how people, get through their toughest moments and on to the other side on top. Just by taking that leap of faith. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. I love that. Okay, so something that I hear athletes talk about all the time before they go on the field, they have like these pre-performance rituals, or sometimes post as well. So, do you have any like certain specific things that you do right before you go on stage or right before you go live to do a song performance? Like, what is your? How do you prep for that? Is it similar to your more? Because I know you were saying in the morning you listen to gospel music and things like that. What is your pre-performance ritual?
My pre-performance ritual, every time, whether it's I guess an interview or like a show or Instagram live, whatever it is, I always just pray like, God, allow me to just touch at least one person. You know what I'm saying? It is as long as one person kind of sees you through me or feel something. That was my whole goal. So yeah, that's it. I just pray and just ask to at least touch somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you feel like your relationship with God has influenced your ability to move through the industry? Because there's so much recently that has just been coming out about different artists and just
Mhm.
different things, not just within the music industry, but politically and just a lot of things that are coming out that people
Yeah.
didn't know. So, how do you feel like um, your spiritual growth has contributed to how you make decisions and how you move through these things?
Hmm. Oh my God, it's just like it's so much. It's just I feel like he's shown me like certain things to encourage me to keep going. Like before I left Memphis, I went to Atlanta and I thought I was going to be living there and, recording there and doing, just living my career out there. And he had a whole nother plan. I ended up being homeless out there before I even came out here. And that was just by choice, because I could have stayed at home with my parents or whatever, but, I wanted to get out and, make something happen. So I ended up doing that and I ended up coming to LA and everything changed. And I knew it was God, you know what I'm saying? Just by the way certain things lined up. So I can say it's definitely tricky, being an R&B artist in the industry right now and still, of course, having faith. But I feel like you can do both, you know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of us that are out here, we're stars, but we love God, you know what I'm saying? So I just feel like because of my roots, I'll never get away from that. And that's my goal, is to never get away from
Yeah. I like that. I like that. Um, so you were saying that when you were trying to decide where to live and where to go, that you were homeless and you really wanted to try to figure things out on your own. Would you say that was the hardest thing you had to overcome, just when it comes to pursuing your dream, or are there other things too that you feel like, well, maybe this too was like something I thought I might not get past, but eventually got through it?
Oh yeah. Um, so it really all ties together. I went back home after I was on a BT show called The Next Big Thing, and I didn't, make it to where I thought I would. And so after the episode aired and stuff like that, I was back home in Memphis and I went through like this, like just kind of, I don't want to say depression, but just this downer, like, what's going on? Like, am I publicly, going to be humiliated? Am I good enough? Like, why, and so um I was kind of in that for a while until something just said, like you said, get up and go, like follow, you have to do something, like don't let this define you. And so like I said, I went to Atlanta and went through that, and that was one of the hardest times of my life, but I feel like that was the most like spiritual I had ever like been able to connect with God, because the way that he navigated me to where I am right now is crazy. Like, I went there, like I said, I went to LA and I hit my friend up from the TV show. And I was just like, man, I'm gonna be in LA for some weeks. I'm just out here networking. And he hooked me up with a few people and they introduced me to a few people, then they introduced me to a few people, then I got an audition and everything was changed, And this was aside from, me recording my own music, because during the time I was really uninspired. I was discouraged. I was like, maybe I should not do this, but he showed me that I should. And so right now I'm like, man, even though I'm singing R&B, I know people can still get something from the message. And we can have some bops, we can have the sensual songs, we can have all of it. That's what R&B artists are here for, to make you feel however you need to feel. So that's what I'm standing for.
Yeah. So tell me, what's your favorite song that's out right now? Like, what song do you have on repeat, or are you listening to
Hmm.
a lot of what's out? Because I know that some artists, when they get into a mode where they're working on a project, it's just that, like, and they don't want to listen to other things because they don't want that to subconsciously influence what they're creating. So
Right.
tell me, like, what are you listening to, and what do you think about just how other music is influencing?
Yeah. Man, right now, what do I listen to a lot? Hmm. I could say I'm listening to the Lion King soundtrack a lot, for sure. Um, what else? I listen to a lot of Lucky Day, Janae Aiko.
Mhm.
Um, so they definitely influenced though a lot of my music too, just from the current R&B, and even like Summer Walker. I like her too.
Yeah.
That's kind of like that's in my playlist right now. Just kind of hearing how the new artists are doing it. Did I mention Lucky Day? I said Lucky Day, Summer Walker.
He's good.
Um, so right now, yeah, and her, of course, she's always in my playlist.
Yeah.
So right now, that's kind of what it's looking like. Yeah.
Okay. And so that's your song, that's your favorite artist. So tell me too, what, like, I feel like we all kind of get into certain moods. Like, we'll have music that we listen to when we are about to go out, to a party or something. And
Yeah.
then there's also like certain songs that we reach for when we're emotional or sad or going through something. So can you give us like your two songs that you go to, like one when you are in a good mood and you're about to just go and work out or do something like that,
Yeah.
and another, like I think of Drake. Like I feel like he's really
I was
good.
just about to say Drake. I listen to Drake when I'm about to turn up. Like
Yeah.
he turned me up the whole time. Drake, but I can say yeah for sure Drake. If I'm working out or I'm about to go out, I'm listening to Drake. Another artist that I forgot to mention though was Victoria Monet. I just got on to her,
Yeah.
and I've been listening to her stuff, checking her out too. So but when I'm in a different type of mood, yeah, I would do. I already said Janae, but yeah, Janae kind of puts me in a different vibe a lot of the time. Just depending on, I guess, how I'm feeling, like you said.
So tell me too, like, what are some of your, if you could think of any artists, whether they are alive or whether they've transitioned, what are some of your dream collaborations?
Mm. Oh, Michael Jackson. Um, I would say deceased, he would be that, and man, Beyonce. I want to manifest that one. That's
Yeah.
my living, living,
Yeah.
dream. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
we're gonna figure that
And
out.
tell me, like you've worked with so many artists, just throughout your career. What is one of the collaborations that kind of impact you the most, or really open your eyes or allowed you to just grow? Like, tell us a little bit about one of those. And I
Hmm.
know it's probably hard because you work with like Kanye,
Okay.
a bunch of
Um,
amazing artists. So
uh, man, it would probably have to be. I got a few of them, but I sang at this thing or whatever, and Latoya Luckett was there, and Tommy, my cousin, and
mhm.
she stood up for me or whatever, and she gave me a hug, and she told me I was super talented. So that just did a lot, just because of growing up. My mom and everybody had all the Destiny's Child CDs and Beyonce CDs, so it just took me back to like, whoa. So that was a major one, and that was like probably one of the most recent ones. But before that, it would probably be Genuine. Like I opened up for him, and I thought he was gonna kind of be like intimidating, or kind of like I'm an OG, I run this, but he, man, gave me a hug and was just like, you're killing it, keep going. Of course, I look forward to continuing seeing you, and all these uplifting words, and I'm just like, oh man, this can't be happening. And so, ever since then, I've been able to see him a few more times, and it's just been good.
Yeah. Tell us, I know that you have a lot of support from the artists that you work with and who are sharing your music as well. What is something that stood out to you as far as like a piece of advice that they gave you, or just something that stuck with you from the moment that you heard it?
Hmm. It's so hard right now. I want to make sure I'm saying the right one.
Okay.
I'm
Take it.
using man, it probably would have to be the Genuine situation again.
Mhm.
It was just him telling me to keep going, and that he was, see me in the future and he would hear me again. Um, man, yeah, that's probably that's the one I can think of right now.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So tell us more about what you're working on. Like what are some of the current projects that we can look forward to and expect from you? And
Okay.
anything too, like even if it's outside of music, because I know that you collaborated with City Trends, and
Mm.
that you have different creative projects going on. So just tell us a little bit about what you're working on.
Okay, well, right now, I just released Levels, which is available on all platforms. But I'll be releasing another single, so we're in the works of figuring out what single it is. But I'm gonna do
Mhm.
another single, and then I'm gonna release an EP, and there's gonna be a visual trailer to the EP. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. And so I'm also working on like I guess you can say mini doc, you know.
Yeah.
So kind of what we're doing, right now, and just kind of letting people kind of in on you know, what Ashton London has been doing and who he is, you know what I'm saying, over the past few years. So, you know, a lot of people are chiming in now. So, you know,
Mhm.
I think it's gonna be dope.
Cool. So I want to a lot of my listeners, well, some of them I know are aspiring artists. So when you hear or when you've heard different no's, right, and you say, okay, this is what I want to do, and then they're like, no, that's not good enough, or no, you know, whatever. What is your advice to them if they like say they're in a place right now, like they've heard so many no's that they're just questioning whether they should even continue on the path? Like what do you have to say to them, or advice to give to them to kind of get through that time?
I will say, like, I know it doesn't feel good like while you're in it, but I would say just kind of look at it as a test. Most of the times, that's how I try to look at it. As like, okay, this is what's gonna get me over the hump to my next blessing. You know, this is what's gonna get me to the next level that I'm dreaming of or whatever I'm envisioning. So it's like I got to go through this pain. I know it hurts right now, but I'll make it to the next side. You know, I'll make it over. So yeah, I would just say stay positive. It's so hard though. I know, because sometimes I'm like, stay positive. I'm telling myself to stay positive. So yeah, but just keep your head up.
Yeah, you know, I feel like no's are a big part of the manifestation process.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's a test. And I feel like a lot of times, even though we're hearing the no's and they don't feel good, it's redirecting you to something better, you know.
Hmm.
So tell me too, when you think of manifestation or the word manifest, what comes to your mind? Because I feel like in the time that we're in, it's a word that comes up a lot more. Like when I first started doing YouTube and talking about manifestation, I didn't really see a lot of people talking about it. I felt
Hmm.
not awkward, but I felt like it was a little, I had to get out of my comfort zone because it's something that I really believe in. But now
Hmm.
everywhere you look, it's like manifestation.
Right.
You know? So
Yeah.
tell me what comes to your mind when you hear that word or when you think about what it means to you
Um,
personally.
I would say just taking control of your reality, like, and I feel like it came to me because a lot of times I would see like the same, I guess you can say, synchronicities, like you know, numbers or whatever it may be, and I'm like, okay, you know, this has to mean something. And so I would try to do like a little, you know, dive into my research or or whatever, and manifestation is all I would see popping up, like, you know, you're about to manifest some stuff, or you know,
Mm-hmm.
it would even give you like how to what is it how to manifest or whatever, just by envisioning and imagining, you know what I'm saying, whatever you believe in and trusting that it's going to happen. So it's like I feel like a lot of those, and I was back at home when this, you know, was popping up, so I feel like a lot of those things definitely helped me get to where I am, and especially God, you know, guiding me the whole way. So
Yes, well, thank you so much, Ashton London, for your
yeah.
wise words, for taking the time to share your path and your journey and all the things that are going on with you with us on the
Thank you.
channel. Let everyone know where they can find levels, where they can keep up to date with all the moves you're making with your docu-series and all of that.
Okay, you guys can follow me at the Ashton London on Instagram, YouTube, everything. You can search levels at Apple Music, Ashton London, YouTube Ashton London, Spotify Ashton London, everything Ashton London. Type in Ashton London and you're gonna see it. It'll pop up.
Ooh, thank you again, once again, so much for having, for coming on the channel, and I wish you all the best. With
Thank you so much.